figured I'd show you guys one of my favorite loads. This is something I've come up with that it looks cool to me. It shoots excellent. I have a Stevens single shot, as I mentioned in a previous video, that absolutely loves this load. It's a quadruple aught buck, 8 pellet. This is 1.5 ounce loads. It's buffered. It's got this cool wad in it, clear hull, all that good stuff. It puts the pattern that Stevens shoots is the size of my fist at roughly 30 yards. It's the gun just loves the load. Now, I have a semi-automatic AK 12 gauge. It's a JTS ILM 12 AK, I believe is what it's called. It also absolutely loves this load, and that one's just got a cylinder bore. The Stevens is a full choke. I have fired this load through one other 12 gauge. It's my it's an H&R partner, not H&R. It's an NEF, which is the same thing. It's a partner single shot 12 gauge with a modified choke, and it also absolutely loves this load. These are 38 caliber pellets, quite a bit bigger than double aught, you know, your single aught, all that stuff. They carry quite a bit more energy, absolutely devastating on targets, and I'd imagine, I haven't shot a deer with these yet, but I imagine they're quite lethal on deer. The pellets can carry, these 38 caliber pellets can carry more energy farther than the smaller pellets will, allowing you to get farther range. Ambulance is outside anyway. You can get better range with these bigger pellets. They seem to pattern tighter. I guess it has something to do with the size and the weight. They are also excellent 10 gauge buckshot loads. The largest buckshot you can get in a 10 gauge is 39 caliber, which Lee does make a mold for that. I plan on getting one, do a video on that for you guys. But these are 38 caliber. This is the biggest size you can get in 12 gauge. Into 12 gauge hulls. These will fit in stuff like your Fiocchis, your Federals, Shadats, Rios, some Remingtons. Hulls seem to like these. But we'll stop rambling. We'll get to loading some of these up, guys. I'm gonna turn the camera around and I'll show you what I'm working with, and then we'll get to actually loading them up. Pretty simple load here, guys. We got some ballistic products, original buffer, Fiocchi, once fired, or not once fired. I keep calling this a once fired for some reason. It's a brand new primed hull from Ballistic Products. Hodgdon long shot, the Gwandi short shell wad. This one's the green one. It has the same base height. You see where the pedals on the shot cup is, where my thumbnail is down. It has the same height as the LMG 42 wad. And my powder coated 38 caliber quadruple aught buckshot pellets. This is a mixture of red and pink powder coat powder. You don't have to powder coat your pellets. I just do it because, as I've said in many other videos, I don't like scrubbing lead out of my barrels. But that's all you'll need for this load. And, well, I guess, of course, a powder dipper. If you want to use a powder dipper, you don't have to. But, yeah, that's all I'm using in this. Let's get to loading some up. Okay, guys, this is one of my favorite 12 gauge loads. Definitely in my top 5 buckshot loads anyway. Now, when I load this up, you'll see it when it's done, but kind of puts me in mind of a zombie looking round. That's what I like to call it in my head, is my zombie round. All my friends that I've showed it to, they really like the way it looks, because I'm going to be honest, it does look really cool. Carries quite a bit of energy, packs a good punch, those big 38 caliber pellets. Let's load a couple of them up. Now, the wad you'll need is the Gwandi green wad. I think it's called the short shell wad. What you want to do to it is just get rid of those pedals. You don't need them. Just like that. I got another one sitting right here. Just tear those pedals right off the wad. They're designed to be torn off. Anyway, just like the LMG 42 wad. Powder, long shot, 26 is the number of the day. 26. 34, 26. You know something I've noticed? It's rare that it happens, but hold on. 22. Anyway, these hulls, doesn't matter what brand, what kind of hull it is, what gauge, for the most part they'll weigh the identical amount. Sometimes I've noticed they could be 2 or 3 grains off. And that's just, I don't understand how that happens. But I guess it don't matter if you catch it on your scale, which you should be really paying attention to your powder charges. 26. Just something to be aware of, guys. Sometimes I have noticed that certain hulls, they don't weigh the same from hull to hull. Just be mindful of that. Anyway, the wad looks just like that. It already looks really cool to me. Looks don't really matter with shotgun shells, but to me they do. It's part of the reason why I load. Just especially these clear hulls. Just the looks. It just looks cool. Now, got them both in there. We don't need our scale anymore. Have the pellets in my pocket. 8 of them in each pocket, because I have 2 shells, 2 pockets. See how they stack in there? They stack by 2s. Sometimes you have to help them along a little bit, because they just barely fit in a 12 gauge shell. There's 8 of them. Right like that. Now, you could go ahead and crimp that, and it already looks really cool. Can you see what I mean with the whole zombie thing? It's got the slime green and the pink fleshy color. Just reminds me of zombie flesh. Just looks cool. But since these are conventionally loaded, I like to do everything I can to help out with patterns, so we're gonna add some buffer. This is the only Lee scoop I have. It's the 2.2 cc dipper. So it takes, you know, 2 or 3 scoops to fill these shells up. Can you guys see what this looks like? That's looking like it's gonna be it. Check it out. Don't that just look cool? Showed this load to several of my friends. They all seem to like it. Let's go ahead and crimp that with the 6-point, which is the back station on the Lee load all. Here's the crimp. I know it's hard to see, guys. Looks just like a factory crimp. I know it's hard to see, but it does. You can actually see one of the pellets right there. Maybe. Anyway, there's one of the loads done. After I load this one here up, I'll turn the camera back around and get you guys a better look at it. But reached into my other pocket here, grab the other 8 pellets. Looks just like that. Gonna add the buffer. It's easier to work off the bar behind me. For videos anyway. Buffer can gets in the way sometimes. A little bit more. My buffer can's almost empty. You guys probably just saw me having to scoop that 3 times. I meant to grab buffer and only got a little bit each scoop. That's okay. I have more on the way. I got some number 47 buffer coming, which is, I'm told, better for buckshot and larger lead pellets, you know, your birdshot. That's looking like it's going to do it. Yep. Another good looking crimp. Still just looks really cool to me. But anyway, I'll turn this camera around and get you guys a much better view of these. Let you see what they actually look like. And then I'll sign the video off. Stay tuned. Well, here it is in all its glory. You can see them giant 38 caliber pellets in there. The buffer, little green wad. Just a good looking shell, ain't it? The crimp, I know it's still kind of hard to see. Clear hulls and white buffer don't really play along, but you can see it's got a really good crimp on it. These loads, they don't have too much recoil. It's an 1.5 ounces, moving 1265, I think's the FPS on it. They don't really kick too much, but they'll give you a good thump, especially out of a light shotgun like my single shots. I haven't shot these out of my pumps yet, but I'd imagine the pumps would, with a full choke, would love these two. I'm going to try to get to the range sometime this week and hopefully pattern these as well as a bunch of other loads I've loaded up for you guys. You'd be surprised just how well these do. You wouldn't think conventionally loaded loads like this would do really well at distances like 30 yards. Maybe I'll do it at 40 yards too, but I'm not kidding when I say it groups about the size of my fist at 30 yards. Don't know what it is about it. Probably something to do with these big heavy pellets. They just fly straight. I don't know. But I'll get the camera turned back around and I'll sign this video. There are 2 guns that I plan on deer hunting with later on this year when deer season comes around, and they're both shotguns. One of them is, it's an H&R Pardner pump 12 gauge. It's got a 28-inch barrel on it. It's a big heavy gun for a 12 gauge. It weighs about 9.5 pounds. Gun's huge, very bulky, very heavy, but built like a tank. I'm going to use that with this load right here because, well, if the gun likes it anyway. If it doesn't like it, I'll just use the Stevens I mentioned earlier. But that's the setup I plan on using for one deer. And the other one, well, I just got a new 10 gauge. Just got a 28-inch barrel. It's another H&R single shot. It's got a cylinder bore. It's a slug gun. Now, I paid $400 for this gun, and about an hour after I bought it, another one got listed by a different seller on Gunbroker, and this one was for an auction, and it sold for $1,525. I think I got a good deal on this gun. Let me go get it real quick. Just hold on. Thankfully, it was just on the other side of the room, not back in my gun safe. If you guys have seen my other 10 gauge, you'll know this barrel is much, much shorter. It's got a blade front sight, flip up rear rifle sight. This is a Lyman, I think this is called the buckhorn sight. Hopefully you can see it well enough. It's missing one of the wings on it, but that's easily replaced. I ain't worried about that. But when I got this gun, it was in pretty rough condition, which is probably why I got it so cheap. The previous owner, I'm assuming, had sanded the stock down to bare wood. Had almost no stain left in it even. You can see maybe right here, good bit of the wood's missing. It doesn't quite line up with the with the butt plate recoil pad anymore, but I can fix that with a rasp. It doesn't bother me. The receiver would have been originally color case hardened, but it was sanded almost completely off. The barrel didn't have to do anything to it. The bore, I know you guys can't really see it, but the gun locks up incredibly tight too. The bore is basically brand new, shiny as a mirror. I did re-blue the receiver because it was pretty rough looking. Looks pretty good now. He did also sand the back of the forend, and there was a gap here, which is, see this shim? This is a leather shim that my friend made. The gun locks up incredibly tight now. When it locked up tight before, but when you opened it, broke the barrel open, it was sloppy, very, very sloppy, but that leather shim took care of that. You have to actually pull the barrel down to open it now. But I did restain the wood dark cherry, black cherry actually, and then coated it with some semi-gloss polyurethane. Show the other side of it. Came out looking pretty good. But I know I got off on another tangent. Just wanted to show off this gun. I'll do some actual range videos with it probably this week, like I said earlier. And yeah, this one's a slug gun. Hopefully you can make this out. Nope, sure can't. But it says H&R 10 gauge 3.5 inch cylinder bore. This gun has no choke on it. Oh, I didn't realize my other one was sitting right here behind me. You can just see how much longer this barrel is. Line up the fore ends. See what I mean? But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Just wanted to show off my new 10 gauge. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the next one.